All right, guys, welcome back to the Deeper Than Most podcast. We're your hosts, Sav
and DJ.
And today we're coming, damn.
We're
And today we're coming to you with a topic that we all know and love, and that's Mars, the mission, and the next steps.
Ooh, if you ever seen Futurama, you know how this goes, but let's get into it.
Yes, and before we jump into the main topic today, we're starting this thing where we do current events before we jump into the main topic, just to kind of warm up before we jump right in. So you can want to go ahead with the first current event?
For sure. Let's see. It looks like we got NASA on the front headlines. Last week, they released images of their rover, which is Perseverance.
Yeah, and they call it Percy for short.
Cute.
Which is cute, yeah.
And then coming from Mars, of course. And it says these photos were the first ever to be taken in color. So that's big.
From this rover.
Yeah.
I believe they've done colored pictures before for
probably like
other rovers in the past.
Like,
Yeah, for other missions. But for this rover, this is the first pictures it's taken in color.
That's kind of cool, though. I mean,
yeah.
Not really much to see besides, Mars.
Oh, no. We're going to go ahead and insert the pictures if you're watching this on YouTube that the rover took, and they're pretty cool.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Huh. There's an aerial picture of the rover at just 2 meters above Mars' surface. That must be a nice picture.
Yeah, it is.
It has to be
it's
nice.
Really dark because space is dark.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really.
And Mars isn't like Earth,
Right.
where we are kind of like in a dome.
Right.
Mars is just on the surface.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we're not technically on the surface of our planet.
Right.
We're like inside of our planet, which is weird.
Yeah,
because of gravity. It just pulls us towards the center.
The way our planet is made, it's like the top layer is gas, and then there's us and all that extra stuff.
Yeah, layers. There's layers to this shit.
Mars used to have one, but that's for later. The point of the current mission is to find potential signs of ancient civilization or life, which is kind of interesting that they would go to find that type of stuff.
Yeah,
because you would, we've been doing our archaeological research here on Earth, and all the stuff that we find here is pretty interesting. So I wonder what they would find on Mars.
Dude, if they have like proof and evidence of ancient civilizations or like ancient lives, like that would be kind of groundbreaking, because that's just proof right there that like aliens exist, like there's other beings out there. Yeah, like that would be crazy. That'd be awesome. Like,
definitely would be, though.
That'd be groundbreaking, literally. Okay, so on to the next topic. Today we have some Pooh Bear news. On February 18th in Anchorage, Alaska, a woman named Shannon Stevens was using her outhouse and was attacked by a black bear. And not just regularly attacked, but she was attacked from below. So she was attacked on the ass, and the woman was interviewed by the Associated Press. Yeah, literally. Just went to go use the bathroom in the middle of the night, and
I'm finna get mauled.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's a story.
Right, exactly. And it was stated, or she had stated to the press that she literally said, "I got out there and sat down on the toilet, and immediately something bit my butt right as I sat down." She also claimed that she jumped up and screamed when it happened.
No,
so literally, like, as soon as she sat down, yeah, like the bear was like in there, like under the outhouse. So, like, as soon as she sat, like, on the hole, because, outhouses, it's not, like, a regular toilet. Like, it's just a straight hole.
Yeah. It's
so,
just a hole.
Yeah. And so, somehow the bear had, like, got in and just had his head in the toilet through the bottom.
But, like...
And she sat down, didn't even look in the toilet, just sat down, and that happened.
I don't know. Like, I try to understand. Like, I don't know. We probably won't ever get to the point where we, like, understand how animals do stuff and why they do the stuff that they do. But, like, some stuff that animals do is it just
kind
baffles
of
me.
mind-boggling, yeah. So then her brother heard her scream from about 150 feet away. That's where they were living in a yurt.
Oh, yurts are cool. They're
Yeah.
kind of like teepees.
Yeah. So they were living in a yurt, and the yurt was 150 feet away from the outhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so he heard her scream, and he instantly ran over to see what happened. He also had, like, one of those head, like, flashlights on. I don't know what they're called. Like headlights? No, not headlights. I mean literally, they're headlights.
But I know what you're talking
But those
about.
little, like, headbands that have a flashlight on them.
They're like minor. They call them, like, miners use them all the time.
Yeah.
And shit,
but it's one of those. So he had one of those on when he ran out because it was dark out. And he said when he got to the outhouse, he saw Shannon tending to her wound, which was on her butt.
That's got to be a funny visual, dude. Like,
yeah.
How do you explain that? Like, oh yeah, no, I was just about to I was about to poo, and then yeah. And upon first glance, they both assumed that Shannon had been bit by a squirrel or a mink or just some other random small animal. They didn't think it was a bear. But after seeing that Shannon was okay, Eric, which was the brother, opened the toilet seat and was surprised to find a bare face inside the toilet at the level that the seat was. So literally, as soon as you open the toilet seat, the bear's face was just right there. This is why you always have to check before you
sit down. I always look at the toilet seat when I use the bathroom every time. Like, you can never be too sure. I like to check the toilet seat.
You always gotta look. Because you never know.
Especially, I mean, it's not a public restroom, but an outhouse, there's bugs and all types of stuff. A snake could crawl in there, anything.
Ooh, that would have been terrible.
I don't know if they have snakes in Alaska. Do they have snakes in Alaska? Look it up. I want to know, because I think they have snakes in Alaska.
I don't see why not.
I mean, it's cold.
I mean, yeah, but,
all the time. They don't have a time to come out. Okay, I'm going to continue while you look that up. So, he said that during this discovery of him seeing the bear was looking up at him through the hole.
So, looks like there are no lizards, freshwater turtles, or snakes in Alaska.
Oh.
The only reptiles in Alaska are rare sightings of sea turtles. As you head north, snakes and reptiles are less abundant. Makes sense.
That's interesting.
Because it's cold, yeah.
So they
really don't have a time to come out.
That's weird. But hey, the more you know. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's a weird fact that, you wouldn't expect to find out.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. In short, the bear was looking up at him through the hole.
That must have been fun.
Boy, I would be petrified. And she was bleeding from it, too.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
Course.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a whole grown-ass bear.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so now on to the mission at hand.
Yes, so Mars, we're going to go ahead and jump into a little description or backstory of Mars. Mars, aka the red planet. As we know, Mars is the fourth planet from the sun and is actually the second smallest planet in our solar system. The name Mars is derived from Rome, meaning god of war in Roman, which I didn't know. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went through
I didn't know that
there's
at
a whole
all.
spill, like, between the whole Mars, Jupiter, all that extra shit.
Really?
It's like the Roman mythology and then the Greek mythology. We're
going to get into Roman mythology, too. Yeah, our next episode, we're going to jump into our mythology mashup, and that's going to be like a new little series that we do where, you want to tell them what it is?
Well, basically what we do is we take a bunch of different mythologies, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and we cover them, we talk about them, and
in separate videos.
You might find out some stuff you didn't know, or you might learn something new.
Yeah. So basically, we'll do like different ones, and we'll kind of have like a couple of different like stories and backgrounds or characters, I guess you could say, to
I
cover.
guess we could focus on a couple of characters. It would be better because like there's such broad like topics,
right? Exactly.
So it would be better to focus on like characters or stories. If you guys have any recommendations, feel free to send them out.
Exactly. We'll take all the feedback we can get.
So, the Artemis mission will be broke down into 3 parts, with the first send off in 2021. The second will be around 2022, and the third launch will be in 2024. So fairly soon.
Yeah, within the next couple years in this decade.
That's kind of cool. Like, Ooh, I actually missed one, but that's okay.
You can go back.
Yeah. Let's see. For this mission, NASA will be sending a group of 18 men and women to the planet. These astronauts are going to be landing on the lunar South Pole region of the moon, making this mission one that will land the first woman and next man on the moon. That's an interesting statement. First woman. That's saying something. Because that, yeah.
It is.
Come to think of it,
she's young, too.
Yeah, isn't she like, what?
I don't know how old she is now. When I looked her up, she was pretty young. I think like 21 or 22.
She's probably like around her age.
Yeah. Which, for astronauts, that's young.
Right. That's kind of cool. Think about it.
Yeah. Dude, putting that on your resume.
21, 22 years old, like, going to Mars. Like, what?
For a long time,
right.
too.
I wonder how much they're paying her. If they're paying
I'm sure really good.
If they
really good.
I wonder what, like, you know how we always say, oh, that's something they don't tell you about a job? I wonder what the things they don't tell you are about jobs like that.
Oh, right. I agree.
For this mission to the moon, astronauts will field geology, sample moon particles. Science for this mission will be done and shed light on the moon's evolution and interactions with the sun, earth, and celestial bodies. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Field geology. I guess they answered my question about how they're going to...
Yeah. They'll figure it out.
Right.
All right, so in the near future, this is kind of what we can look into, or not look into, but this is what we can look forward to in the
the near future.
Damn, this is something that we can look forward to in the near future. In 2024, NASA's Artemis program will have landed the first man and woman on the moon, which will be cool. Damn, that's coming up soon.
Yeah,
it's in 3 years.
Right, that's kind of scary. Because, it's
going to be all over the place, all on the news, the media.
Like, this is history that we're about to
Social media going to be crazy. Yep.
And there's going to
be memes.
That's another thing. I wonder how all of it is now that we do have social media. Because, like, when they were first doing this stuff, they didn't have, like, social media. They had, like, everybody gather around the TV
news
in the living room. In the news.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
or,
being
like,
on
newspaper.
social media, like, dang, that's going to be a big, a big one.
It's going to be different.
Yeah.
By the end of the decade, so this decade here, so by 2030, there should be sustainable exploration points established on the moon, which means they'll be able to discover by this point places on the moon that are inhabitable areas for us to like live on. That
hotel thing,
right? No, but that like resemble inhabitable areas on Mars. So they're gonna do that Mars research, like some of that Mars research on the moon.
So it's kind of.
So they're gonna find places on the moon that can be found on Mars and see if those are inhabitable and do like science experiments on them.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
Well, no, like science experiments that like work here on Earth. They want to see how it would react, like if it would react the same way on Mars.
Because you have to. Like, how would you know if you don't? It's the same thing with like.
Just for the basics,
any other
for us to be able to live.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How would you know unless you do it?
Right.
It's a lot of weird stuff that we know that I feel like we should know, but somebody had to do it in order for it to be known.
And after they find these inhabitable areas, these points will be able to help scientists send astronauts to Mars. So right now they're going to the moon, but once they do everything they need to do on the moon, then they'll go to Mars. New spacecrafts have been created for the most efficiency and success. What?
They've been using them damn UFOs.
I swear. During this mission, these include the Orion lunar landers, new space launch systems, as well as new spacesuits. Mm-hmm. So they made the spacesuits. We were talking about the moon dust earlier. Mm-hmm. So the moon dust is very abrasive, and it apparently astronauts were complaining about it, like, ripping through the leg areas of their spacesuits. So for these upcoming missions, they've kind of amped up the spacesuits. They have a new space launch system, so it's all fresh and brand
aliens.
New. Right. And the Orion's pretty cool, too, which is, like, the spacecraft that they're on, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there's lunar landers. So,
they just be still with. But let's not talk about it. First it was, you know what? So, what are they going to do on the moon? Following the Artemis 3 mission, reports show that this moment will be just as jaw-dropping as the Apollo 11 one, if not more, which is kind of
like
crazy
we were just talking about. Because of social media.
Right.
Literally.
Because, like I said, Apollo 11, the news.
That was big
thing.
for its time.
It was a big thing
but this will be big for our time.
Right. So I wonder, like, with meme culture and, like, all this extra stuff.
It's going to be hell.
How?
It's going to be hilarious.
Yo, like,
literally.
Literally, the day we go, we get some news back, it's going to be a meme.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
There's going to be memes.
I don't know when they do it. It just happens.
It happens.
Let's see. The objective of this mission is performing field geology. And if you don't know what field geology is, it's basically just
mapping out the land.
Mapping the land.
Yeah. Like you said, you were trying to figure out, like, how would they name the places.
Right.
Pretty sure they would figure that out once they perform the field geology.
Right.
So they can figure out different points of the land and, you know, all that good stuff. I don't know anything about any of that, but
in short,
in dumb terms, they're going to look at the land and pinpoint names. Like, you know, pretty much it. So.
And they're going to be getting collectibles and return items, which, like I said, dude, just...
Oh, getting sample collections?
Yeah, think about
of, like, debris and...
Just how cool does that sound, dude? Like, oh, yeah, I just came back from fucking Mars or the moon, and I brought rocks.
It's going to be a while.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a minute.
And I brought rocks, literally.
It's going to be a minute.
That's a life goal right there.
But, like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
Like to say, oh, my granddad, or like,
well, yeah, because not everybody could say that.
Yeah, can't nobody say it except for the few astronauts we got. You know, they talking about first man and first woman, but who was black?
I don't think any of them were.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. I hope so. You little black boys and black girls, be astronauts. We need them. Doctors, too.
And lawyers. And scientists.
Please. Because, anyway.
And teachers.
Yeah.
Can't leave the teachers out.
These
okay.
Receiving experiments from Earth to be tested in a lunar environment. That's what we just talked about.
Pretty
also,
much. Yeah.
You know, like doing stuff with the moon, like testing the experiments that they have already tested here.
Right. And so, I was just about to say it, but it's already on the slide. Okay. So, what can be learned from this? Upon a successful mission, this will have the potential to teach us a little more about the moon's evolution and how it was formed, which would solve not a lot of shit, but it would explain quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it would definitely help explain the solar system a little more and just kind of give us a little background story.
Right. At least from the stuff that we know.
Yeah.
And to build on the knowledge that we know. Because we'll never understand the entire universe because we can't get out there.
No. Well, and if we do, it'll take millions of years probably. Like
or seconds if they keep probing them damn aliens, but we can't get too deep into that.
Moon's interaction, moons.
The
moons. Yeah. The moon's interaction with the sun and what they mean. Unknown facts about the Earth. So they kind of believe that the moon was probably a part of the Earth at one point, and it broke off somehow and kind of became its own
entity. Or
yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it could just have its own origin. But they believe that it broke off from planet Earth, which is kind of crazy because the moon is huge, and like, what would this planet look like if it was a part of it? Yeah, right. That just doesn't look right in my head.
And you think that's crazy? Mars has like what, 2 or 3 moons?
I think like 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, even if we do figure out how to do this whole thing, say we get water,
there's still a whole lot more to figure out.
Right. And like, there's so much going on. Like, how is it gonna all work together? Would you having like 3-4 moons, and then like the moons like control the tides and everything. So how would that work? Like, how would you?
Something for us to figure out in the future, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll also learn a little more about other celestial bodies as a whole, which could teach us a lot spiritually, I think.
Yes, and that's what a lot of people need.
Yeah. And definitely expanding people's minds.
But here's the thing I've learned about spiritual healing and spiritual growth. If people don't want to accept it, it's not going to happen for them. Like, you can't just force somebody to be like, oh, wake up. You can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I guess you
gotta want it for yourself.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things where it's like, it'll be good for the people that are into it.
Yeah, definitely. And then last but not least, it also will teach us how water and other substances landed on the moon.
Moon water.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder what that tastes like.
I don't even want to think about it because I'm sure it doesn't taste good.
I mean, it might.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You never know. And now we want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, Anchor. And we're going to go ahead and do that. And we'll be right back to you. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free and it's easy to use.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast straight from your phone or computer, making it the best user experience around.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, making it so you don't have to upload to each individual platform.
And the best thing about it, you can make money straight from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
So please, download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. And that's anchor.fm, spelled ANCHOR.FM.
So what are you doing? Download the free Anchor app now.
So, the big question is the planet expiring? So, the planet we call home is currently in a seemingly irreversible shift. The natural resources are depleting, climate is changing rapidly, and global warming doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So here are a couple of reasons why Earth is getting closer to being uninhabitable. And before I get into those, how do you feel about that? Like, that's such a strange feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of unsettling, especially because I feel like it's kind of to the point of no return.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, they can probably slow things down or try to reverse a couple of things, but with the way society is and the way humanity is as a whole nowadays, people just don't care as much. And especially right now, like within this past year and everything that's just been going on, life is just so crazy that, you know, people are a little more careless these days and a little more reckless. And people don't really care about taking care of the planet because, you know, in everybody's mind, it's like, fuck it, you know, I'm going to die anyway. Like, nobody else cares. Like, why should I?
I don't know where that came from. Yeah. Like, I don't know where that came from. Yeah, it's true. You're going to die. But, like,
everybody.
For the time that you're here, bro, take care of the planet. You have to live here until that time. Like, unless you just off yourself. But that's stupid because then what? Let's not get that confused.
It wasn't insensitive.
I do support and do, you know, help out when the time is needed. But, like, seriously, don't be like that and then get mad when stuff doesn't go how it's supposed to go. Yeah.
Nothing goes the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, we're going to die.
That's life.
But, like, that doesn't mean you just fuck up the earth even more. Like, we need it. And it sucks because, like, for people our age, we're on the brink of other generations' issues. Mm-hmm. And we can't fix all of it. We're caught
in between.
Right, we can't even fix half of that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it is not our fault, but
some of it is.
Yeah, a good portion of it is, and then that's the thing. So, like, we're in the age where everyone's socially aware, which is good, but they're socially aware towards things that kind of, I don't want to say they don't matter, but right now there are bigger things at hand than the certain things that people are worried about.
I agree. Okay, let's get back on track.
But going into these reasons that the Earth could be uninhabitable within the next couple of decades, there's agricultural activity, such as, your plantings and your deforestation and your crop stuff. There's
natural fires.
Right, natural fires. There's industrial activity, building all these factories.
I mean, thanks to Biden, though, he shut a lot of that shit down.
Yeah. So I mean, the air quality might get better. We'll just have to see how this goes.
In due time.
We'll just have to see how it goes. And day-to-day human activity, such as littering. And,
the city.
Yeah.
And every state has them. So, everybody's doing their part to fuck it up.
Just be a little bit more careful.
Yeah. Okay, but why should we even care? So, we should care because a string of things could happen if we all just stop giving a fuck entirely. And this includes the 6th mass extinction. So that would be us. And wasn't the last one the dinosaurs? Or was there a couple in between?
There was probably some in betweens, but this one.
So if it can kill the dinosaurs, we're next. The world is currently undergoing a 6th mass extinction period. It is reported that at least a third of Earth's wildlife population has disappeared. The most recent disappearance of the koala expecting to happen by 2050. And honestly, I feel like that might be sooner.
That's the Australian koala, by the way.
I'm sure that might be sooner, especially with the Australian fires and all that shit that happened. Oof.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Next would be the natural resources are running out. The Earth is at the point to where natural resources like phosphorus and other natural minerals are being mined for agricultural use. This makes it harder for the Earth to replace these resources, which, especially with, the population
growing
continuously growing, always growing. There's always more people being born. So
that goes into the whole overpopulation thing. That's the whole thing on its own. We'll
it's kind of inevitable. If we're not pumping out resources to accommodate to the rise in numbers, then of course, especially with natural resources, you can't really force natural resources. That's why they're natural.
Right.
So it's kind of a problem. And then the last would be, where will we go? Scientists believe that by the next 50 years, we will be forced to colonize at least 2 other planets due to the continuous boom of the human population and constant stress on the Earth's materials only increasing, like I just got into, pretty much.
Right.
So, we're headed towards doom anyway. And that's why people don't give a fuck. Especially those doomsday theorists. I don't really believe in that, but to each their own, and they have their reasons.
I'm gonna put it like this, bro.
Look at where we're headed.
If you want to build a bunker and live in your basement or under your house for X amount of years, do your thing, bro. So, our potential new home. Mars is one of the most explored bodies in our solar system, which is interesting because there's Earth, and we still don't even know much about that.
Yeah.
And it's the only planet where we've sent rovers to roam the alien landscape. Wow.
That says quite a bit.
Right? We don't even know, all of our ocean, but we can go to Mars.
No, but that says quite a bit about us. We've only been able to come up with equipment that is sustainable for a planet like Mars as opposed to a planet like Jupiter.
Right.
That kind of just shows, our lackluster, compared to other, beings that live out in the universe, and I'm sure there are other beings
that are already done skipped past all of their little planets and came all the way over here. So at one point Mars had a gas atmosphere, but over time it disappeared, unlike Earth's. So back to what I said earlier about Mars having that gaseous atmosphere at first, or its ozone layer. It don't have that no more, and Earth is slowly going away too. But that's
is that bad?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh shit!
That's why
add that to the list. Jeez,
that's why it gets hotter every summer, because
global warming.
Yeah, greenhouse gases, global warming. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, upon some research, I found out that planetary scientists like Bethany Elham and Tristan, now I don't know how to say his last name.
Bassingthwaite.
Yeah,
Bassingthwaite.
Bassingthwaite.
But Wade.
Whatever. Thinks we might be able to find another way to live on Mars. Seeing as how, the elements of the planet itself aren't too ideal, they were thinking that
going underground?
Yeah, that we would go underground and live under.
That'd be cool, but that'd be weird. That'd be a weird adjustment. Mm-hmm. How would they make that enjoyable?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you make living underground enjoyable?
I don't know how you would make it
on a different planet, nonetheless. Like, you're already on a different planet. That should be unenjoyable enough at first, probably, because you're not used to anything. But, and it's, it's probably an uncomfortable feeling.
Like you're leaving your whole home planet. It's not like
your whole life.
It's not like leaving the state or like leaving the country. Like, you're leaving the planet. Like,
right, like you're gone for good.
Right. Yeah. Well, luckily, if this ever comes to fruition, however they want to do it, Tristan was an architect on the High Seas project, which is a Hawaiian space exploration simulator. So, yeah. And this is where they...
Wait, it was made in Hawaii?
Yeah, it was like a little space simulator thing. So
I didn't know they were doing stuff in Hawaii.
They do a lot of crazy stuff. So what they did, it was basically a project where they like simulated life on Mars. And so the people like in the project have to act like they're on the alien planet.
I could dig it. All right, so lastly, we kind of just have like a quick little timeline, which gives like a brief summary of everything we kind of covered. In numerical order, like in a numerical timeline.
Chronological, actually.
There you go. That's what I was searching for. In chronological order. So in 1992, this is where we're starting off, Mars Observer is sent. The U.S. sent the Mars orbiter toward the red planet, but connection was lost. So I'm assuming that's one of the first missions.
Yeah.
But obviously, that was one of the missions that failed. So
one of the 50, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's 50 at this point. So yeah.
And so then we fast forward to 2001. Mars Odyssey for the U.S. was started. In 2001, the U.S. begins the Mars Odyssey, the attempt to actually orbit and land on Mars.
I wonder if that one was failed.
It didn't fail completely, but connection wasn't lost, so it's a win.
Yeah, it's a step up from the last one.
Right.
So jumping over to 2003, rovers were sent to Mars to gather data about the planet. This would determine if life is evident on the planet. And were they even able to determine if life was evident on the planet?
At that point, no, they hadn't determined anything.
Damn.
Yeah, no, at that point.
Well, at least they tried.
Yeah, at least they tried. And they kept trying.
You gotta give them that.
Still trying.
Yeah.
So, honestly, this timeline is hitting the major points throughout the Mars Odyssey. So here, fast forwarding to 2020, we have Percy was successfully sent to gather signs of ancient life and collect samples.
Which is
where we
well then I guess it is still 49 if they have Percy included.
Huh.
So
unless it's like a part 2 to the mission.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how it works.
Right.
And lastly, in 2024, beginning colonization. By this time, NASA and SpaceX plan to send its first set of humans to the planet to test the ability to sustain life. And that, of course, in itself is just gonna, like, completely change the fucking playing field. Like,
just imagine playing.
Obviously, they're gonna send certain people out there first, but
yeah, you gotta send
to say that you're on Mars, like,
right, like.
I mean, go ahead and send them out first, though, just to see what happens, and
because if they can do it,
just as a test round, yeah. So yeah, pretty cool stuff coming up in the future, the near future too.
Just imagine, dude. Like, we finally do get things figured out, and we just live it on Mars, or going back and forth between the two. If we can get travel fast
enough, yeah.
Going back and forth between the two, that'd be cool.
If we could see that in our lifetime, dude, like
it's crazy, dude. Because like awesome. We may not be seeing like the space exploration part in our lifetime, but the AI stuff and like all the technology stuff. Oh yeah,
that's scary too. There's just a lot at play right now. We're in Jumanji.
Literally, I don't know who playing, but they need to chill.
Right.
All right.
So we have some closing questions today.
So a big one for me is: do you think there are any other planets that may be able to sustain life, like Earth? Outside,
I think in the future we can find some. Yeah, besides Mars, I feel like at some point they can figure out how to sustain life on the moon. I don't know if they would want to, or
I don't know why they haven't yet.
I know, but it's like besides Mars, like the moon would be the next step. If not the moon first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would think they would do the moon first. They've already been to the moon like countless times. Yeah. Why not?
I mean, maybe they just haven't figured out how to sustain life on it yet.
I don't know. Or maybe they're just coming across some scary stuff over there that they just don't want to be.
Maybe. Too many space movies.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon and stuff.
Right. Another question is, will Mars be a good new home for humans? And I personally think it could be. It would be an adjustment. I don't think it would be necessarily a good fit for humans in our era.
Yeah.
I think it would be better for the next generation or the next age of humans.
Right.
I don't think that we're ready as a society. I don't think this is for us. This is for us to, learn about and to explore, but I don't think that this is for us to thrive in.
Right. Well, considering where
we're the ones that are supposed to discover it,
Well, considering where we are in the car shit scale, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like, we're just not there yet as a humanity.
And I mean, it sucks because you want to be there, but what can you really do about it?
Yeah, it'll take a while.
Right.
And the last question
is, does this mean space colonization is the next step? So beyond the moon, beyond Mars, you have the rest of the galaxy and how that will play out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's going to be SpaceX or NASA or both of them or China or Russia.
I feel like they're working together.
Yeah, SpaceX, NASA, they usually are.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll definitely be an interesting couple of decades.
It will. And all of this, like this whole video, all of this is in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Even chicks getting bit in the ass by black bears.
On the freaking...
That's just so funny to me. When I looked that up earlier, I was like,
think
what
about
the hell?
Just think about how you set that story up. So yeah, I was going out.
Oh yeah, she's got a story for life. Like, anybody knew this?
And a scar.
Yeah. And who can say that's like a once in a lifetime thing? Like, who can say they got bit in the ass by a bear?
She can't even cheat on her man.
Really?
He gonna know.
That's what you think about?
He
Dang.
gonna know.
Who hurt you? Okay, let's not get into subjects. It wasn't me, but let's not dive into that.
Yeah, this is not deeper than most material.
All right, guys. So that concludes episode 3. I don't think that we've been saying that at the beginning of the episode, so we're gonna start doing that. Episode 3.
We have
last week was episode 2, obviously. Wait, no. I'm sorry. No.
We're actually on episode.
Let me rewind. This was episode 2, obviously, and last week was episode 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And you just said it, yeah. Let me come back. Let me do it one time. All right, guys. So,
let me do it.
Wait. Okay,
last week was episode 1. And this is episode 2, and I hope you guys have been enjoying. I've been your host, DJ.
And I've been your host, Sav.
And next time we'll get
deeper than most. Also, tune back in next week because we'll be diving into a couple of Greek mythology stories.
Send in your own if you're interested. Also, tell us what you think about space and their exploration.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to hear.
If the opportunity came along, would you move to Mars? I would.
I mean,
probably.
Why not? What the hell is left on Earth? At that
Not
point?
Much.
Society going to trash, the planet going to trash.
It's all downhill. But that's it, guys. And we'll tune back in with you next week.
Stay lovely, stay light, and stay bright. See you.